Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 85 of our BU 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that improves us. This month, this segment, we're focusing on our mental well-being. And as such, today we are going to talk about visualization. I'm going to share the steps of visualization, some beginner tips in case you've never heard of visualization, which it's kind of hard to believe in this day and age that people haven't heard of visualization or visualizing things or imagining things in advance in your head before you do something. If you watch any of the Olympics, and I only watched a couple of sports with my kids, some snowboarding events and skiing events, but before the athletes would perform, you could see them at the top of the hill or at the top of the jump off, actually running through their routine and the tricks they were going to perform in their head prior to actually doing the event. We see this with speakers. We see this with business owners. We see this with people in all walks of life. Before they do something or go to an interview, you practice in your head ahead of time, right? You visualize the interview going well. You visualize achieving the thing that you want. How do we do this? Well, I noticed that even my granddaughter last year in kindergarten, her teacher was talking about visualization and imagination and things. We're going to talk about visualization today, and we're going to go a little deeper and talk about imagination tomorrow. Why that order? That's just the order I randomly selected as I was deciding the topics for the challenge this year. So visualization. Let's talk about tips first, and then we'll talk about the steps, and then we'll talk about your action item. Action item, super easy today. You might already be doing this every day, so you might say, oh, I already did that. I did that when I woke up this morning. But the 7 beginner tips, I remember when I first started to visualize, and I still practice pretty much every day because I don't consider myself a good visualizer, right? I don't consider myself a visual person, yet I am totally a visual person. If I look at no, I'm probably kinesthetic, but if you think about the different types of personalities, people tend toward one of their senses. And as my vision has been failing, I've had to fill in other senses and be more in tune with my other senses. But, you know, there's sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, and then, of course, our sixth sense, our intuition. But all of us have the ability to visualize, which is why I'm glad to see that the schools are teaching children how to visualize, how to tap into and imagine in their mind, visualize in their mind the way they want to behave, the way they want things to be. So what are some tips for visualizing? You know, I always use the example because I probably learned it from Tony Robbins, who learned it from Jim Rohn, who learned it from, Napoleon Hill, who knows who first came up with it. But visualization, the pink elephant example, or don't think about a dog, or don't think about a house, or don't think about your house. Whenever you tell somebody to not do something, they automatically create pictures of that in our mind. Why? Because our minds and our brains function in pictures. We see everything in pictures, and then we translate it into symbols and words if we want to store it in different ways in our memory. But we store everything, we see everything, we absorb everything as a picture, and then tuck that away in our brain somewhere. So what are some tips, some beginner tips to visualization? For one, try not to overthink it. I guarantee that I am an overthinker. And when I first learned about visualization, I was probably in my late 20s before I ever really heard about visualization or how you can use it to create and get what you want in your life. And I definitely, by that point, was an overthinker of everything. So step one, don't overthink it. Realize that our natural tendency is to think in pictures. So you're just doing more of what you're already doing automatically. You're just doing it more intentionally. Secondly, use all of your senses. The more of your senses that you bring into the pictures that you're creating in your mind. And in a couple of days, I'll share my favorite visualization strategy with you. We'll spend a whole day or a whole, challenge day on that. I learned it from Jim Edwards, who's an online marketing guy. That he's probably one of the first people I ever started following online, and have been connected to him. I call him a friend for quite a long time. Oh, geez, longer than I hate to admit. Probably as long as the internet's been around, I've been following Jim. So use all of your senses. Third, try not to judge yourself. One of the biggest things, like saying I'm not a good visualizer, is totally judging myself. One of the most important things we always need to do in any situation is to observe and notice what we're doing, but not necessarily beat ourselves up for it. We do the things that we do. We do everything that we do for a reason. Usually it's to protect ourselves or out of fear, but we always have a reason for doing it. So we want to be curious about, well, why am I doing that? Why am I judging myself? Well, we're usually judging ourselves to make ourselves feel better, right? Does judging yourself ever make you feel better? Not me, pretty much not. It's usually me beating myself up for something I think I'm doing wrong. Well, don't judge your visualization. Don't judge yourself if your mind wanders, because all of our minds wander all the time. Just notice it and then bring yourself back to what you're focusing on, what you're thinking about, what you're visualizing. Fourth, stay relaxed throughout the process. One of the most important things is to find a quiet place where you can just relax and chill and breathe for, a minute to 5 minutes is all it takes to pop into your visualization. And as you add detail, as you add more to your story, it might take longer, but it doesn't have to. You can visualize in an instant what it is that you want. Once you get that clear mental picture in your mind, you can visualize it anytime. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Practice visualizing every day, or practice regularly. I say every day. Why would you not want to practice seeing yourself having what you want and feeling the feelings of having what you want every single day? I want to do that every single day, right? So practice regularly. You define regularly. Connect with the emotions of already having what you want. How does it feel? How does it make you feel? Because our emotions lock things into our memory, and our visualization, our mind cannot, and our brain cannot differentiate between what we actually experience and a vividly imagined event. It cannot tell the difference. That's why you see so many athletes and so many people running through their routine or practicing it before they actually do it. Because by the time they perform that, like at the Olympics, they've actually run through it thousands and thousands and thousands of times flawlessly in their mind. And that increases the chances of them running through it flawlessly in the event. So connect with the emotions of successfully performing it, and then visualize with a sense of knowing. Visualize knowing that you can create whatever outcome that you want. Visualize knowing you will have the result you want if you visualize it often enough and clearly enough, and then of course take action to follow that up. So we all visualize, we all can do it. So what are the steps to visualization? If you need to break it down like I do into processes and steps to make sure you're doing it right, here they are. Number one, all visualization is the formation of images and visions and pictures in our mind, right? It's something we do naturally. So step one, write down in detail, what do you want? What is the end result that you want? And then engage all 5 emotions in your description. If you write it down, you can add more details, take things out that don't feel right, add more details, and then you can tweak and change it as you go through the exercise of visualization. And number 2, imagine the emotional attachment to the outcome. Again, step 1, what do you want? Step 2, in detail, and add your emotions. Step 2, imagine and actually feel the feelings of having what it is that you want, the perfect outcome. Step 3, take action on a daily basis toward your desire. We can visualize and imagine all we want. And one of the biggest flaws in the movie, The Secret, if you're familiar with that, was that it didn't remind us that we have to take the inspired action of the visualization. We can sit around and we can imagine and we can visualize and attract via the law of attraction what we want our entire life. But if we don't ever take action on the things that come to us to help us make that a reality in our life, nothing will happen. We'll just die sitting on the couch, I guess. Step 4, expand your knowledge. Look for and be curious about information and things that pop up in your environment that are related to your vision and your visualization, because they are coming to you for a reason. Follow up on them. Be curious about them. Expand your knowledge and information about the thing that you're trying to achieve. And finally, number 5, make time to consider your visualization. Make time to think about what it is you're visualizing. And you can just do that as you go about your day, right? So what's our action item today? Today, set aside, let's say 5 minutes. Maybe set a little timer like my cow timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes isn't very long. and go to a quiet place where you're not going to be disturbed. Maybe just go sit outside on the porch, pretend you're just getting some sunshine, or you're smoking if you smoke. But go and just visualize what it is that you want. Maybe it's to not be a smoker. Visualize the thing that you want for 5 minutes. Add as much detail, emotion, feeling. Feel the feelings of already having achieved the thing that you want. And then just share in the comments, how did it go? How did it make you feel? That's it. That's our action item for today. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow. We're going to talk about our imagination. Another thing that my kindergarten granddaughter learned in kindergarten. Wish we had. All right. Have a great day. I'll be with you tomorrow.